Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 5 of the Wrestling Supershow podcast. Well, technically, this is like 5.5, because we just recorded an episode and found out it wasn't recording. Woohoo! But,
Yeah.
But I'm your host, Jerry Roberts, and as always, I've got the man who taught Coco Beware his dance moves, James Tingstrom, and we are the self-proclaimed tag team champions of the podcast universe. James, I asked you 2.5 hours ago. Well, how are you doing now?
I kind of feel a little bit of deja vu.
Yeah, I know. I do too.
I've been here before.
Yeah. Well, on this episode, we're going to talk about everything that happened on...
Oh, you mean I got to relive Wrestlemania 32 a second time?
Yep,
Oh.
You got to relive it. We're going to talk about everything that happened this past weekend. But first, I'm going to go ahead and get the news and rumors out of the way. At NXT Takeover, there was a couple appearances in the crowd, Kota Ibushi and Bobby Roode. Both of them, I'm guessing since they've been shown on WWE TV, that means they've signed some sort of deal. Kota Ibushi's being rumored to be in the Global Cruiserweight Series. No idea with what Bobby Roode has planned. The word got out that the original plans for the NXT title match was for Samoa Joe to win the belt, but those plans changed at the last minute, and now Joe's expected to debut sometime on the main roster. Don't know when. And also Ricochet, who wrestles as Prince Puma in Lucha Underground. It's been reported that we should know within the next week or two whether or not he's headed to WWE. His Lucha contract has a clause that will allow him to leave after the third season of the show airs, I believe. And apparently at the last set of Lucha TV tapings, spoiler warning, not really spoiler, I don't know, Puma was booked in a way that would make it easy for Lucha Underground to write him off.
Gee, let me guess. He's murdered by somebody, because that happens there.
Yeah, that would be my guess. But yeah, no, or at least I didn't want to know at least that much. But yeah, so let's re-talk about it. Let's talk about NXT Takeover. It was a hell of a show and the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and the best takeover they have done.
Yep.
In my opinion, and this crowd was full of people who know what they're talking about. And there were some really good chants, especially during the first match, which was the tag title match. The which one's Dawson, which one's Dash. There was Botchamania. Explicit warning. Blah, blah, blah. There was a you fucked up chant.
Fuck PG.
Yeah, fuck PG. That was another one. I love during the Nakamura Zayn match, there was no booing whatsoever. It was just nonstop cheers. The first match, well, the match that was supposed to be on the card, Elias Sampson versus Apollo Crews, was moved to the dark match, but in all honesty, I think the show might have needed this, mainly because it was just nonstop. It was like, tag titles, Aries, Corbin, Nakamura, women's title, NXT title. It needed a little bit of a buffer.
Absolutely. The crowd wasn't ready to be excited anymore after that Nakamura Zayn match. There should have been at least a Ty Dillinger promo or something to bring the crowd down a little bit.
Yeah.
He's not a horrible promo, but he doesn't get the world excited. That would have brought him down somewhat.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, this match could have gone on after the tag title match and then move Baron Corbin Aries after Nakamura Zayn in between. That way it's in front of the Bayley Asuka match, so it gives the crowd, 15-ish minute, 10, 15 minutes to kind of regain their,
Exactly.
But it got moved to the dark match, mainly because nobody wanted to see Elias Sampson, which is fine, because I don't want to see him.
He's like the NBC version of a homeless guy. It's like his hair's in the right place, he's got the makeup on, his clothes are pressed and dry cleaned.
Yeah.
His guitar isn't even scratched at all. It's
no, not at all.
Are you living in a van down by the river, or did you just come out of a TV taping of I don't know, Shades of Blue or whatever?
Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, this was a pre-show match, and Apollo Crews ended up winning. and
Good.
we'll know more about him later. But the first match on the actual card was American Alpha versus the Revival in what was,
Awesome.
yeah, it was a really good match. This was the perfect way to start the show. Good way to get the crowd going. Lots of back and forth action. There were some really cool spots. The double German suplex spot was cool. When Dash Wilder, he crawled underneath the ring to grab Jason Jordan to stop from the tag. I thought that was kind of clever. Jason Jordan is just a suplex machine. And he's got one of the prettiest drop kicks in wrestling right now. And once this team gets on the main roster, they're going to be going places. They're awesome.
Yep.
And American Alpha ended up winning, and they are the new tag champs. And I'm glad NXT WWE didn't screw this one up because, yeah, they deserve it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, after this match, they showed Asuka training in the back, and she was training with the Kimbo Slice Killer, Seth Petrozelli.
Oh, the kayfabe killer.
Yes, sir. And then the camera panned to the crowd, showed that Jim Ross was sitting next to Michelle Beadle, so that got kind of a big pop. But the big shot for me, and Corey Graves lost his mind, was when Kota Ibushi was seen in the crowd.
He was pretty excited, and so was I.
Tom, do you know who that is? Yes, it's Kota Ibushi. That's Kota Ibushi! At this point at the show, I was kind of losing my mind as well, because we had just seen the tag titles change hands to the top tag team in NXT, and then they show Kota Ibushi, which was really cool, and now they're like, oh, by the way, here's the debut of Austin Aries.
Mind blown.
Yeah, exactly. It was so cool, except the match was not that good.
The match was a letdown, and it was your typical WWE. Big guy versus little guy.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to try to squash you. You're going to run around in circles. Yeah. And it was just like, whatever. Nah.
Yeah, the when Corbin hit the deep six on the floor, that looked super painful.
I thought he was legitimately concussed. I mean, it looked bad.
Yeah, and he made it into the ring at like 9.5, and Corbin got pissed, did a couple moves, tried to go for his end of days. Aries reversed it into a roll-up and won.
If you blink, you missed it, and I blinked and I missed it.
Yep. After this, they showed Scott Hall and X-Pac in the crowd. And then I legitimately lost my mind, because I wasn't expecting the Zayn Nakamura match to go on so soon. I really wanted this to be the main event. And this started around like 9:45, so I was like, okay, well, it's probably going to end around 11. So that still got Balor match, and you still got the Bayley match. So maybe this one will go 20 minutes. It went half an hour, which it deserved. Because they ran over the time limit anyway. Because it's a network show, it's not like they need a time limit. But yeah, at this point, I didn't know that the Samson Cruz match was the dark match. I was expecting it to go on next, or kind of a buffer kind of thing. But I hopped on Twitter, and that's when I found out that it got moved to the dark match.
Yeah, because WWE does a bad job of communicating things to its fans, like match stipulations and stuff like that, and they didn't even tell us the match had already taken place.
Yeah. But yeah, Sami Zayn versus Nakamura had, in my opinion, match of the fucking year. Like, I'm sorry, match was beyond phenomenal, and the crowd made it so much better. It was 10 out of 5 stars. I've watched this match at least 3 times.
Nakamura looking like kind of over his shoulder at the camera and like winking and
and smiling,
giving that little facial expression.
He knew the camera was looking at him.
And then later on, he grabbed his nose and saw he was bleeding, licked it, rubbed it on him, and then just like went ape shit on it. Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I mean, we were actually getting to watch El Generico versus Nakamura on WWE NXT TV. Mind blown. But I will say this, there was holy shit, there was this is awesome, there was battling Nakamura Sami Zayn chants, there was yes chants, all before the match even started.
Exactly.
Yeah, and real quick, can we talk about how amazing Nakamura's music is?
It is pretty damn awesome.
Yeah. Sure, the visual part of it will give you a seizure, but damn,
Yes.
that music is so badass. Like I've listened to it so many times already. But we'll get back to the match. This match was just awesome. They each had their own moments. Lots of back and forth. I didn't take many notes, mainly because I wanted to watch this. And yeah, there was one part when they did the back and forth forearm shots for what seemed like 10 minutes.
Literally 10 minutes?
Yeah, and
It never ended.
no, it never ended, and I didn't want it to because it was so cool. Yeah, and then this is where like you mentioned, Nakamura's nose was busted. And there was
Nakamura is an assassin, dude. Like, he's a murderer.
Yeah.
He's got a very good grasp of the English language.
Yep.
He's got a very good grasp of how to tell a story, when to do certain things, facial expressions, body movements. He is a stack of $100 bills walking through the door right now. Very,
very true. There was a fight forever chant, which I wouldn't have been upset had they kept going.
Hey, they've been better than sitting through WrestleMania.
Hi-oh! Zayn went for his diving DDT through the ropes, but got kicked in the face.
In the face.
Yeah. Nakamura's Bomaye finisher is now called the Kinshasa.
Which sounds like something you would buy off an infomercial at like 2 a.m, like as an addition to a Ginsu knife.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're up late, you're plastered, you're like, that knife looks good, I'ma buy 20 of them. But yeah, apparently Bomaye translates to kill him. So in the PG area, WWE probably didn't want that, so they changed it to Kinshasa, because the Rumble in the Jungle Ali fight, they chanted Ali Bomaye, and that fight took place in a city, town, I don't really know the full details, but wherever it happened, it was around an area called Kinshasa. So they linked the two together, which is still pretty cool. So
yes, it is. Makes sense. Total sense.
Yeah. But that's how he won. He used that. The crowd gave them a standing ovation. Honestly, this is one of the best matches that I've ever seen since I've been born.
From start to finish, storytelling-wise, and without the use of gimmicks, yeah, I think this was probably up there, top 3 or 4.
Yeah. But I do have one question. Okay. Have you ever been so happy that you just start laughing?
I believe I have.
Yeah, because that was happening to me the entire match. I didn't want it to end.
And I was somewhat distracted by the fact that I was tweeting way too much during this match from two different accounts.
I was tweeting on 2 accounts. I was chatting with my friend who lives in Arizona, and we were just marking out the whole time.
I had a very large smile on my face for the entire match. Yeah. Actually, for the entire show.
Yeah, and then it came to an end, and I was just like, oh, because 1, I didn't want it to end, and then 2, this marked the end of Sami Zayn in NXT, since he's going to be on the main roster full time now.
I'm kind of over him since he debuted on Raw last year, NXT-wise. It's like, time for you to move on to something bigger and better. It's like, you've done it, been there, done that. I want to see other people in NXT.
Yeah.
Go be on Raw. Go get your middle of the card title reigns. Go have your Kevin Owens feud that's actually going to get money in your bank account because more people are going to see it. Go feud with John Cena. Just go be great elsewhere. Time for you to graduate.
Yeah. And then immediately after, this is where I wanted a buffer match, because you immediately go from that straight into the women's title match between Bayley and Asuka, which again was a really good match, but I think
the crowd wasn't. Yeah, they didn't have anything left.
I mean, I know you mentioned it earlier, but the crowd peaked, I think, at the Nakamura match.
It was the Bayley Asuka match and the Joe Balor match were good.
Yeah.
But the show peaked in the middle, match quality wise. This was the best match on the show. It was only going to go downhill from here because you can't top this match unless you kill somebody in the ring. You know, excitement wise, it's not going to go. Oh, you're not going to shock people any more than they've already been shocked. They got too excited and they burned themselves out.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And again, I mean, this was a really good match. There was tons of back and forth. Bayley tried doing the guillotine a few times. lost my place on my notes. Yeah, but towards the end, Asuka locked in the Asuka lock a couple times, and Bayley passed out. Asuka ended up winning the title. They did have a long, kind of an awkward stare down outside the ring while the refs were checking on Bayley. So part of me is like, oh, they're not done. But yeah, and also I heard on another podcast, apparently after the match, Izzy, the hardcore Bayley fan who sits front row at the Full Sail taping, lost her shit.
Yeah, she's a little brat. Good for her. Her favorite wrestler lost and she can't handle it.
Yeah.
Join the club, okay? Join the club.
You know how many times when Roman Reigns has lost that I've cried?
Oh my God. I flipped my shit when CM Punk didn't beat The Undertaker. Oh wow. I'm gonna cancel my subscription now. Boo.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently her parents or whoever she was with had to like take her out of the building or something.
Good. I hope they beat her ass too. Grow up and act like you've been there before. Because you literally have been there before.
That's true. Yes.
Anyway.
Another thing about this match is that it was kind of an awkward, like, again, with the whole buffer thing, like, it was basically Zayn versus Nakamura again, because it was the hardcore babyface up against the hard-hitting Japanese athlete, and stylistically, Bayley is similar to, well, Zayn does more high-flying stuff, but Bayley and Zayn are similar, and Asuka and Nakamura are very similar.
Yep.
But it was a good match.
Very good match.
Yeah. And that brought us to Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe, which again,
I'm so over these themed entrances for Finn Balor.
Yeah.
I kind of dug the Jack the Ripper deal in London, but I didn't need Texas Chainsaw Balor because first of all, he wasn't wearing the mask. It was
had he worn the mask, it would have been cool too. Like
they just had a chainsaw on Raw 2 weeks earlier with Terry Funk, so I don't need to see a chainsaw again. Which, by the way, who leaves a running chainsaw just lying on the ground? You idiot.
Yeah, and it's not needed to build a wrestling ring.
No.
But yeah, again, there wasn't really. I mean, yes, the Corbin versus the Baron Corbin versus Aries match wasn't that good, but it wasn't a bad match. Like there wasn't really a bad match on this card.
No.
But yeah, the Finn Balor Samoa Joe match was another really good match.
Blood added to the match.
Yeah.
The headbutt 10 seconds in.
Yeah, exactly.
The referees kind of killed the flow at times because they wouldn't stop attending to the cut.
Yeah.
It's like he's bleeding. It didn't happen on purpose. I get the blood ban because of other bloodborne pathogens, including hepatitis and things you can pass along. It's a safety issue, and I'm totally for keeping these guys as safe as possible, but. He cut his eye, like the outside of his eye.
Yeah, it was like right on the eyebrow.
Fuck off and let him have a badass match.
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
Or at least, clean it up good the first time and then go, not stop it every 2 seconds.
Put some of that skin glue that'll close the cut temporarily until you can get to the back and have your 6 stitches.
Yeah. But yeah, so like you were just mentioning, the blood added to it because it was really cool to see, Joe just like covered in blood, pissed off, like, oh, I'm gonna kill him. But at the same time, it's like when you have to stop the match like 4 or 5 times to clean up, it took away. But at the same time, I don't know.
Stephanie was pissed at Joe for pushing the referees away. Piss off, bitch. We don't care what you think.
Yeah.
Joe's pissed because he's having his match stop. This is his main event. This is his moment. He doesn't get to have a match at WrestleMania.
Nope.
This is his WrestleMania this year. So piss off and let him fight.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, and then towards the end, Balor landed his drop kick, which led to the coup de grace, and then he tried to go for what he calls the 1916, which is the Bloody Sunday DDT. But Joe reversed it into the Coquina Clutch, and I was like, cool, Joe's gonna win. But no, Balor walked to the corner, pushed off the turnbuckle, and turned that into a pin.
Which was done at the Survivor Series 1996. That was the finish of Bret Hart's title match, and then they tried that finish again, I think, at some point earlier in the show. They tried the same finish earlier. It's like, how many times are you going to keep going back to former finishes of matches that are famous finishes?
Yeah.
Stop.
Even in the, Even in the tag title match, there was a segment, I didn't notice it at first, but one of my friends sent me a link. There was one segment where Dawson and Gable were in the ring, and there was like 4 back-to-back like pinfall attempts, and they were all like, this one was from like WrestleMania 10, this one was from WrestleMania, like they were all like, they did like
Yeah.
but I didn't realize that at first, and then he sent me that, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But
all right, that was Takeover.
Yeah, overall, good show, best show,
Very good show
of the weekend that we were able to watch on TV.
Yes.
And then, do you want to talk about the Hall of Fame or what we liked about it? We don't got to go into the 45-minute.
Ric Flair's a piece of garbage. He's a horrible human being, and he's the worst public speech. Sting gave a great speech, a fun
Sting's speech was really good.
He hit everything in his career evenly. He gave everything equal time.
He even mentioned Joker Sting in TNA.
Blew
he
Twitter
didn't say
apart.
TNA, but he said, "Can I mention Joker Sting? Huh, why not?"
Blew Twitter to pieces.
Oh yeah, internet lost its mind.
New Day did their gimmicky crap with the Bootios. I think maybe they talked about something, and then Kerry Von Erich,
Kevin.
the not dead Von Erich came out and called him the new gay.
Yeah, he did call him the new gay, which everyone in the crowd laughed. And then Kofi made fun of it later in the night. He said that he's like, something about we reach out to all demographics. # new gay rocks.
Yes.
So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, like you said, his speech was awesome, and he did say that he's officially retiring. He said he quoted what he always says. He's like, the only thing for certain about Sting is that nothing's for certain, or whatever, however he puts it. And then he said, except for today, I'm officially retiring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ric Flair, you're not getting inducted for the 3rd time. You're not inducting Ricky the Dragon Steamboat again. Just
I don't even think
talking.
Terry Funk was in the building.
Yeah, just stop talking. Go away.
Anyway.
But yeah, also Godfather had a really short one, which I did like. I did like his speech. But moving on, let's go to the pre-show for WrestleMania. Kalisto and Ryback had an empty arena match, basically. There was hardly anyone there.
It's cool hearing Mauro Ranallo on commentary, and Kalisto's outfit would have been better suited for WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, it's true.
Color-wise.
He looked very similar to Ultimo Dragon, but color-wise,
yeah.
It would have done better had he been like silver and blue, or, white, blue.
Maybe red, white, and blue, or maybe not even involved in the match, because he shouldn't have been fighting Ryback.
No, not at all. Or if he had, this should have been the multi-man bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just got a text message. But yeah. Yeah, Kalisto, apparently everyone had trouble getting in the arena because the scanning system, stopped working for some reason.
Nice.
Which isn't the first time that's happened. So,
no.
Jerry, get your shit together.
Yep.
But yeah, Kalisto ended up winning, and he retained his title, which was...
And then we go to the Divas Tag match, which we don't need to speak of this because this is in the Chris Benoit category, He Who Shall Not Be Named, which is a female got a submission, and it was over quickly.
Yep. Brie won with the yes lock, and her transition into it was kind of cool. So Team Total Divas, which they're getting rid of the Divas title. Yes, they are getting rid of the actual title, but the title of Divas.
Now they're women, finally.
Yeah, now they're women.
They have equal rights now, yay.
But yeah, Team Total Divas ended up winning.
Drunk Lita came out to unveil the new Women's Championship belt.
Oh, yeah, I don't think she should be doing the pre-show whatnot. There were reports, or at least, apparently Renee Young was pissed off at Lita, too.
Oh, I can't stand Renee Young either. I've had enough of her.
You don't like Dean Ambrose's girlfriend?
No, I don't.
Okay, alright. But yeah.
She's the female JBL and Byron Saxton rolled into one.
Oh, I'd much rather listen to Renee Young than Byron Saxton and JBL.
Well, yeah, but they're still all terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, Lita did introduce the Women's Championship, which she said for the first time ever, even though she is a multi-time Women's champion.
It's get it right, you drunk bastard.
Uh, and then the final match on the kickoff show was the Usos versus the Dudleys, and the bulk of this was Bubba yelling a lot, super kicks galore, and then the Usos ended up winning and putting the Dudleys through tables after the match.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then this...
now it's time for the 5-hour segment of WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. You thought 2 hours was enough? No, we've got 5 hours more. Oh, man. The first matchup was the 7-man smorgasbord ladder match galore.
Because sure, let's cripple 7 guys who are still healthy.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of the match, Owens took some sort of suplex from Zayn, and it looked like he broke his neck. Stardust was laying on one ladder, and Sin Cara got basically pushed off one ladder to the outside on top of Stardust, and it broke the ladder.
I'm getting tired of that broken ladder spot. It's every year.
It happens every year.
It happens every year in the same spot, outside the ring, right there.
Yeah.
It's enough.
I did like the part where Zayn dove through the ladder to the outside. I did like that spot. That was
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I picked Zayn to win and then kind of set up a program with Owens heading forward. But nay, the Long Island Iced Z is your new Intercontinental Champion.
My official pick was Kevin Owens, but I joked on Twitter like, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if Zack Ryder won the belt?" Like
we'll give you half.
The day it was announced that he was in the match, I was like, "Oh, that'd be kind of cool if he won." And well, there you go.
Yeah. We'll give you half a point.
Nah, screw it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this brought us to the first of many booking mistakes that the WWE made.
No flyless Chris Jericho versus the phenomenal AJ Styles, who was phenomenally not put over.
Yeah, like, I don't know, there were so many things in this, like, his 450 splash, his springboard 450, awesome. He actually did the Styles Clash, but no, because Chris Jericho is the only one who can kick out of it.
To be fair, AJ kicked out of a code breaker. I mean,
Chris Jericho
then again, how many code breakers is AJ going to walk into? Like, they're booking this guy to be a doofus.
Yeah. But AJ should have won this match. It makes no sense why they put Jericho over. He doesn't need the win. He lost to Fandango 3 years ago. Come on.
Don't remind us, man.
Yeah. But yeah, he should have won, and that was a big mistake on WWE's part.
Of course.
Next was the New Day versus the League of Nations. And New Day came out of a big old box of bootios dressed as Dragon Ball Z characters.
Or, like I thought, Samurai Power Rangers.
Yeah, and supposedly this was promoted as a 4-on-3 handicap match, but WWE doesn't like to tell people about changes, and apparently it was just a normal 3-on-3 match. And
I just think they legitimately forgot.
Yeah, they forgot about the no DQ stipulation in the title.
Somebody tell Barrett to get on the apron. Oh, wait. Nah, never mind. Forget it.
Yeah. But yeah, New Day ended up winning. Or no, I picked New Day to win. League of Nations ended up winning.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah. Barrett grabbed a microphone and said that there's no 3-man faction that could ever beat the League of Nations. And this, I immediately thought, Balor Club. But then Shawn Michaels' music hit.
Ugh. Yeah. No fly list.
And then it was followed up by Mick Foley. And then the person who got the biggest crowd reaction of the night, Stone Cold's glass shatter. And then he walks out, and then they beat the shit out of League of Nations.
Yeah, because once again, it's cool to put the Attitude Era guys over the current era guys. Because why not?
Perfect booking. And then after this ended, it was the street fight between Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar. And to me, this was a 10 to 15 minute giant waste of time.
I agree, even though I enjoyed watching Dean Ambrose take 14 suplexes and an F5 onto a stack of steel chairs.
Yeah,
but there was no point in this match because
the way they're booking Dean Ambrose just pisses me off because he gets beat up by Triple H week after week after week, and then he gets a title match. Granted, I didn't expect him to win the title match, but he gets a title match, he loses. So they put him in a program with Brock Lesnar. Gets the shit kicked out of him week after week after week. So he gets a match at WrestleMania. What happens? He loses. When are they going to start booking him properly?
Granted, Brock Lesnar should wear a cup from now on, but people, stop kicking him and punching him in the balls. It's like
It's his only weakness.
is the company this starved for ideas that, oh, well, the only way our guy can compete against, well, let's kick him in the balls.
Yeah.
Like, can you get a little more creative than a nut shot? I mean, goddamn, this is not like Mad TV in the 90s. Get more creative or fuck off.
Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of this match. I thought Dean Ambrose was going to win because the Wyatts were going to help him or not necessarily help him, but take out Lesnar, and then Ambrose would win, and that way it would set up a Lesnar versus Wyatt's program. But no. I wasn't a fan of this match. Lesnar ended up winning. And then the next match was probably the best match of the night besides the ladder match. It was the Triple Threat Women's Championship match.
Really good match, really bad outcome.
Yep.
And not so much because Charlotte won, it's how she won.
Yep. Ric Flair grabbed Sasha while Charlotte had Becky in the figure 8, and he wouldn't let Sasha into the ring, and Becky ended up tapping out. But my big thing was, like, where did Snoop Dogg go? He could have helped Sasha.
Exactly.
He came down to the ring with Sasha, and then he just vanished.
Like a puff of smoke. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So yeah, Sasha should have won.
Yep.
Like, I know you've said it before, you'll say it again. New title holder. The
Divas belt should have died with Charlotte. You take the new women's championship, put it on Becky or Sasha, whatever one you choose. If you want to put the belt back on Charlotte next month or the month after, great. But it's like she won the Divas belt a couple months ago, whatever. She walks to the ring with the Divas belt and then walks out with the women's belt. It's like transition, a brand new start for a brand new belt. No, they didn't do that.
Nope, not at all. So yeah, Charlotte won. She becomes the women's champion. And then it was the 30-minute long, boring Shane McMahon versus Undertaker match.
How long was this match?
It was 30 minutes.
Oh, so you're saying it was 30 minutes too long?
Yes. This match, honestly, in my opinion, should have never happened.
Going on third from the top, you knew Undertaker was not going to lose because it had no impact on the main event, and it would have no impact on the overall show. People would easily forget the outcome because if you were keeping track like I was, when this match started, the time code on the network still had about at least 2 hours remaining in the show.
Yep.
Before the match started.
It
was like, how the fuck are you going to fill 2 hours with 3 matches? This is.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah. This was a 30-minute long match that led to one big spot that everyone knew was going to happen.
It shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have happened. But they could have conveyed the whole story that they were trying to tell in half the time. It could have been a 15-minute match and it would have been perfectly fine. But the one spot that bugs me the most is that when Shane does his big jump from the top of the cage, you visibly see as he's landing Michael Cole just reading the script, and that bugged me. And he yells, like, it ties it back to the Hell in a Cell between Taker and Mankind. He yells, "For the love of mankind." And at first I was like, oh, okay, kind of a tie-in. But as I thought about it more, I was like, this dude almost died right in front of you. Like,
speaking of Mankind, the Hell in a Cell he had with Undertaker at the King of the Ring '98 had didn't really advance a storyline for either guy, other than they had kind of had a feud leading up to it, off and on for a couple of years, and it was kind of like, I guess, the blow-off, or I don't know, just another match they had.
Yeah.
But that was a match that was epic because of the off-the-top spot and then through the cage spot. And then Mick Foley being taken out on a stretcher with the tooth hanging out of his nose and all. That match holds up the test of time because it's memorable. It's epic. It had moments where it's like, wow, did you see that? Can you believe that?
Mm-hmm.
This match, the storyline made no sense. This match was boring. It was not exciting. No one's going to be talking about this match in 5 years, let alone 5 months.
Only thing they're going to be talking about is that one Shane jump, and that was
it did not add to the match.
Nope.
It took away from the match because he fell straight down as opposed
he didn't even land it. He landed on the table, but Undertaker moved.
It's like, I ask you, long term, what did doing this match accomplish? I answer you, nothing.
Nothing.
It did nothing for the company because it didn't put over a new star.
Nope.
At least in terms of Mankind Undertaker, it solidified Mankind as a hardcore badass.
Yeah.
And a few months later, he's competing for the world title.
Yep.
Without that Hell in a Cell, maybe he doesn't get to the world title, level.
Yep.
Because he doesn't put himself over as the guy who will do anything.
Mm-hmm.
No. Shane's not going to be world champion ever.
Nope.
Neither is Undertaker. Again, it's like, this match did nothing for anybody. It took up 30 minutes that you could have had. You could have had 30 minutes of just shave off the show so we can all go home earlier.
Yep. But yeah, honestly, this match made no sense because it was two baby faces up against each other, and Vince loves his stipulations. So it was gimmick on top of gimmick on top of gimmick, 20 different things.
Yeah.
And of course you knew Taker was going to win.
Exactly.
So it made no sense. Up next was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and there was multiple surprise entrants. DDP, Shaq, Tatanka.
I disagree with all three of those.
Yeah, I was excited to see Shaq because I'm a big basketball fan, but I guess the big thing about DDP, the DDP yoga going on, he even had a DDP yoga seminar at some point during the weekend.
The Booyah, Boom Shakalaka, Hack-a-Shack references, they can all die. They can just kill all three of them right now.
Yeah, Michael Cole had no idea that Tatanka was even in the match.
I had no idea that half the people that were in the match were in the match. I was pissed off because, you couldn't put Tyler Breeze in this match? Oh, wait, he isn't. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah. It's like, what the hell? I can't even tell half these people are in the match.
Yep. But yeah, my prediction was I was going to pick I picked Bray Wyatt to win. But none of the Wyatt family was in the match, and we will find out later why. But who I wanted to win was Damian Sandow, who got immediately
tossed out number 2.
Yeah, he was immediately thrown out by Shaquille O'Neal. But your winner, and it makes me happy because he's now on the main roster, Baron Corbin.
Drier than vinegar, Baron Corbin.
Shocked the WWE universe. But yeah, and then after that, The Rock came out with a flamethrower and lit his name on fire for some damn reason.
I wish he had lit himself on fire.
That had to have been a Vince McMahon idea.
What?
Who
Rock. Cares? Who cares?
Rock. Go out there. Here's a flamethrower. Yeah, he went out there and announced the attendance record, which was not the real attendance record. They announced it was 101,700 and some odd number.
Bullshit.
The actual attendance reported as like 95, 97, somewhere around there. So
that's still a record.
Yeah, it's still a record. Because in WrestleMania 3, they were like, oh, the record 93,000 something, but
even for Dallas, Texas Stadium or whatever they call that shit show of a stadium, that's still a record for that, 97,000 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Because no Cowboy game is going to get 90,000 people.
No, because you can easily fit a couple thousand on the ground, which is the field takes up most of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Rock comes out and he does that. He's interrupted by the Wyatts. He puts over Bray Wyatt and shits on Rowan and Braun Strowman. And I know you've mentioned it before, but yeah, they need to turn Bray Wyatt face.
And when they do, this will be a moment to go back to where it was like, hey, The Rock said I could be all that I could be, and I'm going to be all that I can be.
Yeah, exactly. And once he said that, the crowd started cheering, and, I don't know if they were chanting anything. I zoned out.
And all the bad humor and all the bullshit made it clear. This segment made it clear that WWE main roster product is no longer for me. I just watch because I can't help myself.
Yep.
It's not going to be fun anymore. It's going to be painful to watch 90% of the time. Oh, well, at least I still have NXT and Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground.
Yep, and then that led to a 6-second match between The Rock and Eric Rowan for some fucking reason. Who knows?
Yeah, screw The Rock.
Yeah. Wyatt's tried to attack The Rock, but before that happened, Cena returned.
Which I was absolutely excited for. I do want to see him back.
Yeah, and what I was most surprised about was the crowd reaction. They were cheering him.
It was
and then
very
immediately,
positive.
And then they started chanting, "John Cena sucks."
Yeah, fuck the crowd, man. It's
yeah,
like I hate human beings who go to wrestling shows. They're horrible.
Yeah.
They were crapping on John Cena's, at the Hall of Fame and then laughing at his jokes. It's like, you don't know what you want. Just shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Just shut up. Be Japanese fans and just clap for the good action and shut up.
Oh, yeah, and then they took out the Wyatts and left, and that brought us to the Triple H versus Roman Reigns.
Boo.
Yeah. Title match.
Now, that was a great video package. Now, I'm the biggest Avenged Sevenfold fan, and a Hail to the King package was like so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went and ruined it by having the champion enter first with a horrible lead-in from his horrible wife.
She looked like Dana, who played from Ghostbusters.
A 39-year-old woman should not be dressing like that in public. I'm sorry. She looks great, but it's like, are you a trashy biker whore or the wife of the COO?
Yeah. Honestly, she shouldn't have been out there to begin with, but
no. But the spear she took right in the chest probably popped one of her implants, and it was really cool to watch.
Yeah. Crowd popped huge for that.
And then immediately booed Roman Reigns for hitting a woman.
They're like, "Hey, you speared her," but boo because it's Roman. But yeah, this match was so predictable. I mean, it was an okay match, but
dude, it was 30 minutes of crap.
Yeah, after 6.5 hours, I was so burnt out. I was just.
Yeah, you think 3 hours of Raw is bad? Try 6.5 hours of WrestleMania, and then you gotta sit through a Roman Reigns match.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the match went on. It was just They promoted this as a regular title match. And then we get reports that WWE is, they're booking it as
it was official. The official program had it as a no DQ match.
On one of the trucks, it was a no DQ match. But as the match went on, it was just a regular title match because Triple H was trying to use his sledgehammer. And
Michael Cole was like, "Oh, he's going to get himself disqualified." And I'm like,
"Shut up, Maggle."
No, he's not. Oh, wait, they forgot their own damn stipulation. Yep. Oh, well.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't... Match-wise, this was a decent WrestleMania. Not the worst, not the best.
Well, it was definitely better than WrestleMania 9.
That is true. That was the Caesar's Palace one. Right?
And that shit show of WrestleMania 11, that was terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of this card. And that was mainly based on the booking decisions.
If I have a gun to my head right now, and it might be self-inflicted after watching this show, but I would give it a 2 out of 10. I would crap all over this show, but to be fair, I'm going to give you the old baseball trade, a rating to be named later. I'm going to go back in a few months, probably summertime. I'm going to watch the show from start to finish, not including the pre-show, just the main show. I'll give you guys a rating, I promise, in July.
Yeah. Yeah, booking-wise, it made no sense for Jericho to win.
Nope.
It made no sense for the New Day to lose, only to have the Attitude Era guys show up. It was just a cheap way to get the legends on the card.
Yep.
I hated the way the women's match ended. It was a really good match, but with Flair, he just needs to go away. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. Just decent matches. There wasn't really a terrible match. I mean, like, there were some matches where I was like, but...
Yeah, there wasn't, like, a stinker where it's like, how the hell did you get on the WrestleMania card?
Yeah.
But it was like, just wasn't into most of them. It was just boring.
Yeah, like, there were some spots that kind of made it better. Like, I was happy that Zack Ryder won.
I was bored through most of the show.
Yeah, I was happy that Baron Corbin won the Battle Royal, but other than that, it was at best. But yeah, and this brought us to another 3 hours of wrestling. Raw after Mania.
Snooze.
Yeah, this started with a Vince promo.
Which wasn't bad.
Yeah, shocker. And the crowd started singing his intro music. as his music ended, and he just kept going. But before this, like, they started out with going to the announce team and Michael Cole saying, "Oh, this crowd is the traditional crowd. They're gonna boo the good guys," or whatever, however
Yep.
he said it. But Vince's promo was pretty good. He said tonight is one that we will never ever forget. Shane interrupts him and tells the crowd goodbye. Vince says that no one is going to upstage him. So crowd starts chanting, "Let him run it." And Vince is like, "Okay." So tell me, why the hell did they have the Taker Shane match?
In the course of 12, 24, 20, 21 hours, you basically rendered an entire segment of WrestleMania void.
Yep.
Like, that whole 3 months of build-up was for nothing.
Yep.
Fuck this company.
Yeah. First match was a tag team title match. Sheamus and Barrett against the New Day. New Day came out and cut a promo. The crowd they are so with the New Day right now. The crowd did their WWE World Tag Team Champion chant that Xavier always does. Xavier held up a piece of the Bootio cereal from their entrance last night, or from the night before, and started singing "The Circle of Life" from Lion King. Match didn't really go on long, but there was one part of the match where they made a dick joke. JBL said, "Xavier's trombone shrunk," and then Saxton said, "They come in different sizes," and then Michael Cole said, "Oh, must be cold." Wow.
Fuck you, Vince McMahon, you piece of shit. Why do you write these horrible fucking segments for commentary? It's like, it's unfunny, it's unimaginative, it's uninspired, it's uncool. Stop.
Yeah, he just needs to go away.
I wish he would die.
Oh, that'll be on some merchandise possibly. Foreshadowing maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah. The Wave started at one point, but in the end, New Day won, and they retained their titles. Sheamus grabbed a mic and said that they should be beating everyone across the globe. Another part where I was thinking maybe the Balor Club, as they, and then they attacked Barrett, threw him out of the ring. He looked dead.
Yeah, he did. Like a corpse.
Yeah. Lights went out and the Wyatts started attacking the League of Nations. Crowd started singing, "He's got the whole world in his hands." "Thank you, Wyatts" chants started, and I'm assuming this is the babyface turn of at least Bray for sure. That the WWE, and what I know for sure the crowd has been wanting, because everyone likes him.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That was that.
Yep. Next segment, we won't really talk much because it was Summer Rae getting her ass kicked by Sasha Banks. And it was a short match. That was it. Summer Rae cut a promo. Blah, blah,
blah, blah.
Yep. And then they did a video package, or a little small video vignette of Apollo Crews' Raw debut, which is going to be happening next.
Cool.
Yeah, it made me happy because I'm a big fan of his, even when he was on the underground, or in the independent scene as Uhaa Nation. But yeah, he had a short squash match against Tyler Breeze.
Ooh, you mean that thing Roman Reigns screams before he punches somebody in the face?
No. This one's way better. This one is way better.
Just had to break. I've been waiting on that one for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, so that match ended. Then the next segment was Roman Reigns coming to the ring and attempted to talk, but the crowd would not really let him. Because they were.
I'm not a good guy. No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm not a bad guy.
He's like, come on,
yes, you are.
I'm not a bad guy.
I'm just a guy.
I'm the guy.
Well, you are a guy that we don't like.
Yep.
So, please go home.
Yeah, and then he mentioned something about, if you want a piece, of this title or whatever, come get some.
And there was the revolving carousel of entrance music.
Yep. Chris Jericho entered, followed by AJ Styles, followed by Kevin Owens, followed by Sami Zayn.
Followed by Coco Beware, followed by Tatanka, followed by Duke Dumpster Drozy.
Followed by
Everybody wants
Shaquille
a piece of this
O'Neal.
title.
Yeah, they were all there. But then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn started fighting. And then that promptly started Chris Jericho and AJ Styles to start fighting. And that left Jericho alone in the ring, only to get a spear to end the segment. With making the champion better than everyone. And then in the backstage area, Shane announces that the Fatal 4-Way match, he announces a Fatal 4-Way match between Owens, Styles, Zayn, and Jericho to determine the number one contender. So, looking forward to that match.
Should be good.
Yep. The next match after that was the official Raw debut of Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler, as Vince McMahon likes to pronounce it. The crowd was very out of this match. Some fan snuck in a beach ball. There was "Let's go beach ball sucks" chants. There was "Beach Ball City" chants.
Hey, beach ball fan, you should be beaten to death by Haku.
Yeah. But this was an okay match, but it ended in a double countout, and Corbin hit Ziggler with the end of days on the floor.
Of course, the ultimate even Steven booking, a double countout.
Yep. And they also like to book these up-and-coming NXT guys against Ziggler. It happened with Tyler Breeze a couple months ago when he got called up. Now it's happening with Baron Corbin. I'm surprised Dolph Ziggler isn't also feuding with Apollo Crews. But, yeah. Next segment was Zack Ryder coming out. He came out, he was going to cut a promo, but he was interrupted by "You deserve it" chants. And then he does cut a promo on how happy he was that he won. He thanked his dad in the front row. He also said, at WrestleMania 10, I took a picture with Razor Ramon, and I was holding his Intercontinental title. Last night, I made a point to go find him backstage so he can hold my Intercontinental title. And then he showed both pictures, him as a kid, and then the one from the night before. And the crowd gave a decent reaction for that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was interrupted by The Miz.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah.
Who took the belt from Zack Ryder.
Yeah, it was...
in a match that happened.
Yep, it was an okay match. The crowd didn't really seem into it, except for when Ryder was actually getting the offense in. There was lots of his woo, woo, woo. Zack Ryder's dad, again, was in the front row. And Maurice showed up, slapped Ryder's dad, and that distracted Ryder. And then Miz hit the skull-crushing finale to win the title. And I hated this.
Yep.
It was not so much Miz winning. I'm not a Miz fan. I don't care that he won. It's the fact that WWE loves to do these constant title switches. It happens more often than it should, and to me it devalues the title. It happened a couple months ago with Kalisto and Del Rio, when I think it was the Royal Rumble. Kalisto won. He lost it on Raw, and then he won it back on SmackDown. So I wouldn't be surprised if he won it at the SmackDown table.
Why do they hate Zack Ryder so much? I mean, fuck this whole company. He got over. You buried him. He got over again, and now it looks like you're trying to bury him a second time.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I hate Vince McMahon.
But yeah. And then up next was the sorry, I'm looking on the internet for SmackDown spoilers. The formal presentation of the women's title. By
Drunk Lita.
Yeah, exactly. All of the divas were in the ring. Charlotte tries to cut a promo, but the crowd won't let her. They start chanting and singing for Bayley. There's a women's wrestling chant. And then Charlotte says, she wouldn't be where she was if it wasn't for her dad. All the divas got pissed off and left. And then Natalya grabbed a mic and says she needs a lesson in humility and wanted a match. Charlotte said no. Natalya put Charlotte in the sharpshooter. End of segment.
That's my golf clap, folks.
Yep. Up next was the Usos versus Dudleys in a table match, which nobody cared to see.
Nope.
There was Nakamura chants. There was Jordan and Gable chants. Whatever chant they wanted to, they did because this match was boring. The end of the match, both Usos tried to do the double splash while the Dudleys were laying on the tables, but the Dudleys moved. Usos went through the tables, and the bell rung magically. And then I believe it was Bubba that grabbed one of the Usos and threw him through a table in one of the corners. And then Bubba seemed legitimately pissed off and yelled at the timekeeper, "Now you ring the bell." It seemed like everyone in the match, or everyone outside of the match, like everyone besides the guys in the ring, they forgot the ending of the match.
Yeah, and they forgot the freaking rule book. You have to be put through a table, not put yourself through a table. People.
Come on, people. Next segment was a backstage interview with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn gets attacked by Owens and powerbombed through a table in the back, and therefore it was announced later that he wouldn't be in the Fatal 4-Way, but we'll get to that in a minute. After this, they came back from commercial, and the Dudleys were still out by the ring for some reason. No one knows why. And then Big Cass and Enzo Amore debuted to a huge, huge crowd reaction. I've been expecting them since NXT Brooklyn SummerSlam last year.
People know who they are. They chanted along. They cheered loud.
Yep.
These people know who Cass and Enzo are.
Yep, it's true. And I think they're going to be one of the top teams on the main roster. I think they were already one of the top teams in WWE anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the main event was the Fatal 4-Way match between AJ Styles, Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, and Lillian said that Zayn won't be able to fight, but there's still a Fatal 4-Way. And then the last remaining participant was the returning Cesaro.
Yay!
Woohoo! Apparently, it was brought. I didn't mention it earlier, but apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, or if it was just a way to kind of write Zayn off. But apparently, during at the beginning of the show when they were attacking each other, it looked like Zayn hurt his shoulder. Granted, it might just be storyline. So that's why they might have played it off like.
All right, if he's legitimately hurt again,
yeah,
let's give up on this kid because he's never gonna stay healthy.
Yeah. But again, that may just be a way just to be like, hey, you're going to keep your feud with Owens going, so just move over real quick.
Or you can just stay at NXT where you seem to never get hurt.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a really, really good match. There was lots of false finishes, but in the end, AJ pinned Jericho after, and miraculously, Jericho didn't kick out of the Styles Clash.
Huh.
And now, AJ Styles is the #1 contender and will face Roman Reigns. Now I don't think it makes sense why AJ lost at Mania to Jericho, but
WWE logic dictates if we're going to put you over bigger, you're going to lose at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, Dolph Ziggler goes out and loses at WrestleMania 29 and then comes out the next night and cashes in Money in the Bank. It's like, why do we have to bury a guy to put him over, or put him under to put him over? Because it's not really a burial. It's the wrong word to use. But I'd love to see the official Roman Reigns heel turn at Payback, aided by the Balor Club beating down AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Make that your no disqualification match, and Roman's obviously not going to join the Balor Club, but give him that nod, an acknowledgement that, hey, thanks for the assist, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good show. Not the best Raw after Mania they've ever done, but it was definitely a solid show. Lots of debuts.
Enough teases that bring out later on, enough surprises they can bring out later on. Because look, it's going to be a long spring and a long summer. The show's going to suck.
Yeah.
Like it always, every year, it struggles through the summer months. That's just the way wrestling is. Those are the down months for WWE. you're going to have somebody show up and some big stuff happen during the summer.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so definitely. I honestly thought they could have debuted the Balor Club a handful of times, whether on Mania or on the Mania or the Raw. But overall, Apollo Crews made his Raw debut, Baron Corbin made his Raw debut, Enzo and Cass made their main roster debut, the Vaudevillains are making their main roster debut on SmackDown, which aired or is airing right now. I'm looking at some of the spoilers.
Cool.
So yeah, if you want to know, I can tell you some of them. They're not fully...
I don't really care about SmackDown. It's just a show. It's the B show.
Yeah. The main event is Styles and Cesaro versus Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho.
Nice.
Vaudevillains took on the Lucha Dragons. Natalya took on Summer Rae. Miz took on Zack Ryder in that rematch.
Did he win the belt back?
Maurice came out after Ryder, but didn't get much of a pop, then introduced her husband. Oh, she came out and introduced the Miz. Maurice ended up interfering, allowing Miz to hit the skull-crushing finale for the win.
Awesome.
Yep, and then Apollo Crews defeated Curtis Axel. Natalya beat Summer Rae. Vaudevillains beat Lucha Dragons. Reigns kicked off SmackDown with... said to a big reaction, mostly boos. Reigns cut a promo similar to Raw about how he's the guy. AJ Styles comes out to a big pop and they trade promos. Reigns talks down to AJ and leaves the ring, and then they set up the Styles, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Jericho match later.
It is what it is.
Yep. So, before we end, who is your wrestler of the week / weekend?
Let me get my notes because I completely forgot.
And what is your match of the week or weekend?
My match of the week is obviously Kalisto versus Ryback because that empty arena match was legendary.
Yeah, exactly, and everyone missed it.
Psych. No, my match of the week was Nakamura versus Sami Zayn because reasons. Go watch the match if you don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't think it's a great match, go kill yourself.
Yeah. You're
You're
not a wrestling fan if you think that's a bad match.
I'm not going to be a Tom Sibley and tell you to eat a dick, but just go kill yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? It's at least a good match. Second honorable mention for Wrestler of the Week goes to Pentagon Jr.
Cero miedo.
Because this is going to be the rare week he doesn't get Wrestler of the Week, and he went after Mil Muertes. Second honorable mention. First honorable mention, Nakamura, because whatever. Wrestler of the Week, Zack Ryder, because he won the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania.
That is true.
And he's dating Emma, so win, win, win. You know it.
Woo, woo, woo. Whoa, sorry.
So you, sir, who is your match of the week, and what is your sports entertainer / wrestler of the week?
My match of the week, month, year, decade, lifetime, Zayn versus Nakamura.
Yay.
And my wrestler, Shinsuke fucking Nakamura. For me, that was the match. And the wrestler, he made his debut and he owned it. There was, everyone was worried, is this going to be the same Nakamura? Are they going to change this? Are they going to change that? The only thing they changed was his music.
It got a little less good than it was in New Japan.
But it's still so awesome.
It's as good as it's going to be without being the original.
Yes.
It's like their I guess, house version of his New Japan theme song.
WWE had to change something. They had to change something, so they changed the music and they changed the name of the finisher. Everything else it's the same Nakamura.
Well, to be honest, Chris Benoit changed the name of his finisher.
Well, that is true.
Oh, wait. He went there.
Hey-yo. Well, yeah, anything you want to talk about before we end it again?
Probably not. We will have a content shortened show this Saturday because we're not going to talk about anything WWE besides NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to introduce a new segment.
And Lucha.
Well, yeah, but WWE-wise, we're not going to have Raw, WrestleMania, and TakeOver, so it's going to shorten
Yes.
or content-wise. So we're going to introduce a new segment. Not going to tell you what it is, because that's what we in this business call a tease.
That is true. That is true. So, yeah, I mean, if that's going to be it, I'll do the ending, and then we'll be out of here.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. If you want to follow us on Twitter, follow us at JJ Wrestling Show. Hey, my dog again. Go like our Facebook page, Joey and James Wrestling Super Show Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at JJ Wrestling Super Show. We do upload on iTunes and Podbean, so you can follow us on there. Also, we do upload on YouTube. So be sure to find our channel. It's J&J Wrestling Super Show. So please rate, subscribe, share, tweet, favorite, like, retweet, quote tweet, whatever you want to do. Just do it. We appreciate it greatly. Where can they find you on social media, James, sir?
They can find me on Twitter at Roman Reigns Greatest Champ Ever.
Oh, you changed it?
Oh, wait, we're being real? This is real?
Yes,
oh, no,
this is real.
It's at James Tingstrom, because I am, again, not a creative tweeter. But our J&J Wrestling Show account, if you want some controversial stuff that's really not politically correct, find the tweets tagged JT, because that's me shooting my mouth off about anything.
And I'm the ones tweeting with JR.
And his tweets are very nice, very respectful.
Some of them, if you look at some of the ones during Mania or the Raw after Mania, I do have some language in it. So
I do my best to find the boundary and then cross it on purpose.
You're rubbing off on me.
Well, one of these days I'll have you cheering for Brock Lesnar.
No, that'll never happen.
That's my promise to you.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Space Jam is my jam. So please follow us on there if you want more amazingness. That is what we are. If you want to send us emails, hate mail, suggestions, show reviews, tell us to go watch a show and we'll tell us what we think. I don't know. Send us mail at J&J Wrestling Super Show at gmail.com. And that is JANDJ. Well, folks, that's going to be it for this podcast. Be sure to be on the lookout for the next episode coming this weekend. We're going to try and record on Saturday. And we're going to be back to our normal ways, talk about all things wrestling this week, mainly Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor. Like you mentioned, maybe a new segment here or there, who knows. So yeah, until next time, y'all have a great week, and we will see y'all next weekend.
Hit the champs music. Roman Reigns. Do 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 do.
Roman Reigns, the guy with the biggest pecs. Roman Reigns, the guy who has lots of sex. Roman Reigns, the guy with the wettest hair. Roman Reigns, the guy who just doesn't care. Roman Reigns, the guy with a lot of class. Roman Reigns, the guy who will kick your ass. Roman Reigns, the guy who is dressed in black. Roman Reigns, the guy who has got your back. Roman Reigns, the guy with a sweet goatee. Roman Reigns, a good friend to you and me. He will punch you. He will spear you. He will punch you. He will spear you. He will punch you. He will spear you. He will punch you. Believe that! Roman Reigns, the guy who is not that bad. Roman Reigns, the guy whose tattoos are rad. Roman Reigns, the guy has a decent car. Roman Reigns, his cousin's a movie star. And I believe that. Oh, I believe that. Yes, I believe that. Man, I believe that. Oh, I believe that. Yes, I believe that. Oh, I believe that. don't you? Roman Reigns, he's dressed like a prison guard. Roman Reigns, his promos are on flashcards. Roman Reigns, he's black, sort of, I think. Roman Reigns, I'd like to buy him a drink. He's not the basis for Metallica. 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 That's Robert Trujillo. I'm Roman Reigns.